What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. Today, Batman versus Superman, head-to-head, mano-a-mano, the best of the best. The Batman versus Man of Steel go, steel cage battle match, battle to the death, all that fun stuff. Guys, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe if you love comic book movies and Superman and the Batman. We're going to be breaking down both films, both amazing films, by story and plot, visuals and sound, memorable moments, rewatchability, and overall grade. And we're going to grade each out of 10 and see who is the victor here, who wins, Batman or Superman. Joining us today, I've got Queen Manda at Amex NDA Reviews. Check out Candid Cinema and all the amazing content she does at Candid Cinema. What is up, Manda?
I am so excited for this. I got so much to say about both of them, and it's going to be a freaking death match, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and then we've got my man, Lo. He is at Marcellus Durden. What's up, Lo?
Good evening. Nice to see you guys. As always, I feel like I was just with you guys. Go watch our Obi-Wan trailer reaction. It's been a long day, but Zack Snyder, I gotta admit, he made my day a little brighter. It's my first time watching it for a little while, and like The Dark Knight Rises, I feel a lot better about Man of Steel than I've ever felt. And initially, way back when, I was not a big fan. So
yeah, so this is two films. Like the Batman, I'm just so excited about where this, amazing Gotham and origin villain story is headed. When it comes to Man of Steel, it's like a little bittersweet because I freaking love Man of Steel, but it also brings me back to this is really the start of the end for the DCU. Like the fact that we never got Man of Steel 2 to this day bothers me so much. It bothers me so much. But let's start off with the Batman, and we're going to grade the story and the plot of Batman 0 out of 10, 10 being perfect, 0 being awful. Manda, how would you grade the story and plot of Batman?
So from a detective standpoint, I really loved the film noir elements. I loved that the Riddler was kind of orchestrating everything from the beginning, and it was easy to follow because he had his hand in everything, and we were tracing the steps in meeting new people, introducing these new characters, the Rogues Gallery, Gordon. So starting with the Riddler and then going through the corruption of Gotham and then Batman coming in to try to figure out the riddles and all of that with Gordon, I thought was really interesting. And the fact that he was the puppet master in all of this, the Riddler, was my favorite aspect. But for me, the riddles kind of did get lost in the second half of this, and then the detective aspect wasn't as strong as they set it up in the first half in trying to figure out these riddles. And then just going to each character, like the Penguin, like Falcone, it just kind of slowed down afterwards. But for me, the story as a whole and trying to uncover the corruption of Gotham, I would probably give this a 6.5 out of 7 out of 10, just because the story in the first half was really strong in setting all of this up, and then it just kind of gets lost in the second half and doesn't really have a neat enough ending for me story wise.
7.5, or what was it, 6 or
7? I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
7 from Manda. What about your Law? How would you grade the story of the Batman?
So obviously the insurmountable hype just changes our perspective on the film as a whole. But now that it's been a while, I've passed the premiere night, I've passed my day 2 recollection where I was overanalyzing it, and this third time, which I got to enjoy again last night,
shut up, Bo.
and look, I'm being funny, so but jokes aside, I really just sat back this time, because the second time I practically had a notepad out. I was just like analyzing every shot and like, the way he framed the Riddler in this shot. And it's like the third time I kind of just let myself go. I had a couple drinks. I was feeling pretty good. And it was just a fun experience. And I think the story doesn't hinder that at all. But I got to agree with some of Amanda's points. I just think that the script could have been a little bit tighter. It drags its feet a little bit in that 2-hour mark. The first hour is so good, like it almost brings me to tears how beautiful it is, and it does drag its feet a little bit. And I was talking about it with our good friend Leo from Geekly Goods. We both have a general consensus that maybe it was just one too many riddles. Because, I mean, especially after the DA riddle with the bomb blowing up in Batman's face, it's like that was such a powerful moment. And then it kept going on. And it was like, there's another one where you find the Vans at the seawall. And it's like, I get how important that is, but I think we could have got there faster. And also, upon this third rewatch, I did notice how I know that Matt Reeves wanted to let the scenes breathe, but it felt like we were just lingering on these crime scenes forever, like just panning left and right. And I get the atmosphere, I get the murder mystery detective work of it, but like I said, it could have been done tighter. I mean, if you watch Seven, and that film's not even 2 hours, and Seven accomplishes a lot of what the Batman accomplishes in less than 2 hours. So I think that speaks for itself. With all that being said, my biggest gripe with the story is Selena Kyle being Falcone's daughter. Just for me, it felt like it came out of nowhere. Even on a third time watch, I liked the initial surprise twist, but after seeing it a third time, it just felt like, where did that come from? At least in my opinion, I didn't mind the connection between the two, but it just didn't quite hit for me in terms of the emotional beats of the story. So with that being said, I think for the story, I'll give this a 7.5.
All right, 7.5 for Loretto. For me, it's just 10. It's everything I've ever wanted and more. I love how Matt Reeves designed an origin story featuring some of the worst of Gotham City, but used that for Batman to realize that he's a force for good. He's a force for good rather than fear. You know, in the end of the Batman, we're given this like full-fledged Batman that's on this brand new mission for Gotham to bring hope to the people rather than instill fear into the criminal underbelly of Gotham. It's just so good. For me, I love the twist. That's what I signed up for. I love, like, it kept me guessing. This is a film noir. You know, I love that, you know, the Penguin was set up as the rat. He wasn't the rat. Selena Kyle being the daughter of Falcone. Jesus.
You got it.
For me, this is a 10 out of 10. Like, it's everything I ever wanted. It's the Batman movie I dreamed about since I was a kid watching the Batman the Animated Series. This was way better than Nolan's universe. I'm sorry, that's just me. There is no question in my mind that this trilogy is already on track to beat and be better than Christopher Nolan's trilogy. There's not even a question in my head.
That's a spicy meatball.
No, there's not even close. I have Jalen in the house, so you're gonna hate my letterbox.
I can't wait to see it, Jalen. I can't wait to see it. Hey, say it with your chest, man. Just be proud about it.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, let's roll on to visuals and sound. Manda, where are you at with the Batman?
Oh my God. Listen, I'm so happy that we did the verses ahead of time because everything that we watched, everything that you guys covered as well, like from Chinatown to Zodiac to Seven to Taxi Driver, there were little notes of that visually in the cinematography from Greg Fraser. And then obviously the direction by Matt Reeves. You have incredible framing. The angles were really strong. Everything done. Like, my favorite part about the Batman is literally that they put you into the cowl. They put you into his mindset. And I love that so much. And to me, that's fan service. It doesn't have to be cameos and all of that. Like, that's pure fan service. Like, you felt like Batman with him, and I thought that the visuals were stunning. Again, it adds a different layer, another layer, very important one in visual storytelling on top of the script, because I think that the script wasn't as strong as we said, so the visuals did elevate that, and then that's why we had such a fantastic experience with it. So Greg Fraser is going to be one of the greatest upcoming cinematographers. Like, hell, he did Dune. He's nominated for an Oscar for Dune as well, so hopefully he wins. But visual is great. Michael Giacchino, that score, what can I say? We've been listening to it every single day. It is fantastic. That combined with the sound design, you hear the bone crunches with those punches. You hear the boots mixed in with the score, and just all of that combination is just perfection. And I honestly give it a 10 out of 10 for visuals and sound, just because both of those aspects, Giacchino and Fraser, just elevated the script. And it doesn't, like, for me, that was the experience watching it in IMAX. Like, the script, okay, whatever, but visually, and it hits with the sound, like, it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
10 for Amanda. What about you, Lo?
10 out of 10, baby. It's a 10 out of 10. And look, guys, don't hear what I'm not saying, because I know you're dragging this film down. But look, guys, this no cap or whatever, all cap. I don't know how to talk like the youngin, but this is the best visually looking Batman ever. It's just like picture perfect shots. Like Amanda said, Greg Fraser kills it, and every single image is like a panel from a graphic novel. Like, I felt like it was like a little bit like Batman Year One, Sin City, Watchmen, even. And again, I've seen this several times, so I really got to notice some of the shot composition. God, I got like hints of Blade Runner. There's the shot in the rearview mirror where he sees Selena driving away. It's like, okay, there's Chinatown. The reflection on the car and just being next to him on his motorcycle reminded me of like Travis Bickle, like on his cab driving through the scum of New York, and just replace that with Batman driving through the scum of Gotham. And it's like beautiful cinematic storytelling. And again, nothing against the script, but I think visually the storytelling was immensely more powerful. For example, when Batman lights up the flare and he is Gotham's one shining light in the darkness, and they follow him through the water, that shot takes my breath away. And I'm not even talking about the score yet. And I mean, what more could I say? I mean, mixing in Nirvana, Something in the Way, it was such a delicate and beautiful, like, haunting track to like give us the landscape of where Bruce's mindset's at. You know, that Something in the Way is his grief, it's his torment, it's his trauma. And then, you know, hearing it again at the end, but knowing, like Dive said, knowing that he has a refound purpose. I think that's what really made the movie for me. Kind of wish the film ended with that shot of him when it's looking down on him, but you know, visually, musically, beautiful. The sound of the duct tape, sound design, perfect.
So good.
All right, 10 for Loretto. Yeah, obviously this is a 10 out of 10 for me. This is elite cinema right here. Giacchino's score is haunting. It is so good, especially in some of the major moments in this film, which we'll talk about in just a second. But like you guys said, Amanda, the camera work in this is just ridiculous. Like, this is the first time I felt like I was Batman watching a movie. Like, in other Batman movies, you're like, wow, I wish I could be billionaire Bruce Wayne. This was the time when there are so many scenes when you're on the shoulder, you're kind of like in the cowl, you're literally going for the ride. And that's kind of like that Chinatown-esque kind of vibe that we saw. It's so well done. This is a 10 out of 10. I've been listening to the score nonstop, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. 10 out of 10. 10s across the board. Let's move on to memorable moments. Amanda.
Oh my God. Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind, and it's been burned into my mind, is that scene where the Riddler is behind the glass and then Batman's talking to him. Oh my God. Like, apart from Paul Dano putting on a freaking acting clinic in that one scene where he just plays it really soft and subtle when he's talking to him at first. And then when he doesn't like something that Batman says and it upsets him, he just snaps and he goes off. Like, that is just great work from Dano. And I feel like for me, I connect to villains more in that way because it scares me on a mental level. Like, psychologically, that scares me more than someone being violent, and it really gets into your head. And I thought he did such a great job with that. But then turning on it, seeing Robert Pattinson in the cowl, all of his emotions are coming through his eyes. I don't know how the hell he did it, but it's just such good acting, but like behind the cowl, stuff that we haven't really had before either from other Batman actors. No offense to them, but this is just something so different because we've connected with Batman instead of connecting with Bruce Wayne in this case. So I thought that scene, it's like the best scene in my opinion out of the entire movie, and I'm happy where the placement was for it as well, because they saved like the best for the third act in that way. But that one, just, I still think about it literally, and I watched it like last week. I still think about it.
Right. Wow, what grade?
For that, just for the scene, that scene is like 10 out of 10 for me. So like for that to stick and like I still think about it, like that's a 10/10.
All right. What about you, Lo?
Yeah, just I want to speak to that real quick, Amanda. Like that part, he's like, "No, this isn't how it's supposed to go." Like, he just sounds like so like unpredictable and like on edge. And what a performance. I think this is low hanging fruit, I think, but I wanted to stand up on my seat and cheer when I heard the Batmobile rev up. Just hearing that and then knowing it's in the shadows, and then Penguin slowly turns around and he's like, "Oh shit, Batman has a car." That whole chase was kinetic. Again, so many like, I had an argument with someone on the internet. It was just like, oh, he's like, if you steal from so many movies, is it really a good thing? But it's like, hey, if you take all these different ingredients from different places and make a good meal, is it not a good meal? That's all I have to say about that.
I like that.
The tension of the chase, it reminded me of the French Connection. I'm not sure if you guys seen this. I actually really wanted us to watch French Connection on our road to the Batman, but that's neither here nor there. It was a beautiful chase. It was like the perfect amount of like heart pounding action that up until that point, it was mostly just a detective story. So we kind of need that like injection of some action just to kind of wake us up a little bit in the middle of the film. So that was great. And I also want to shout out one other aspect I think was the heart of the story for me, besides Batman being a symbol of hope. Him and Gordon were just perfection. Like Jeffrey Wright, Robert Pattinson played off each other so well. And my favorite shot was when they come into the car garage and it pulls up, and it's just them two side by side, and they're investigating the mayor's car, and they find the thumb drive. And I love that. I love buddy cop movies. I love detective stories, private detective gumshoe stories, and just them being beat for beat with each other was just like something I could really cheer for as well. Besides the Batmobile chase, so those two for me. I hate to say it. I hate to be hyperbolic, but it's a 10. It's so, I love it. I love it.
Whoa.
Shook.
Let's go. All right. I've got 3. The first one, I'm just lumping the first like 10, 15 minutes where you see Batman lingering in the shadows or not. And the criminals are literally batshit crazy, pun intended, because they don't know. They know the bat signal's in the sky. But there's one scene where one of the guys is spray painting on I think a bank or something like that. And his spray can goes and rolls into a corner, like a dark corner. And he doesn't even like, he literally just runs away because he thinks that Batman could be right around the corner. And he's not. But it's just such an amazing moment. We've never had that POV of criminals, and that level of fear that Batman gives off, which, we talk about how this movie ends, which is just so amazing. The other one is that Batman exiting Gotham City Police Department. Just an epic scene where Giacchino's score is just pumping. It is pumping so hard. And but my favorite part of that scene is the part where Batman shoots up his like grapple hook, and the camera's like literally on his shoulder, and you're like going up with him, and the score is just pumped. That was just, like you said, Loretta, with the Batmobile scene, I was my jaw was dropped. I was going nuts, man. It was so fun. But really the ending for me, something we've never seen before from Batman is him helping ordinary people and becoming that beacon of hope. And that's something that's the way the movie ended. Spoilers. But it was a really big moment to see Gotham's demise be, the stepping stone, the biggest moment in Batman's career to kind of find his own identity. And that's what this movie was, not only for Bruce, but for Batman, especially that Bruce and Alfred dynamic. Just so good. So good. For me, it's a 10. Let's roll on to rewatchability, Amanda.
I mean, I'm dying to go watch it again. Like literally, I left the theater. I'm like, I need to see this again and again and again. I think even though it's 3 hours, listen, I sat through freaking Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is four times. I sat through The Irishman, which is 3.5, about 6 or 7 times. Like, I don't care how long it is, as long as the pacing is fine. But I can definitely see myself going back to watch this over and over again, especially during Halloween, because now it is being dubbed a Halloween movie. I would definitely give this I'll do a 9 out of 10 based on like the runtime just being a bit long, and the third act is like they could have cut it down a bit. So I'll do a 9 out of 10 for rewatchability.
Love it. Low?
Yeah, no, I mean, as many memorable moments and as visually stunning this is a really hard one to grade for me, because I can watch that first hour all day, any day. That his first stepping into the crime scene and inspecting it with Gordon at the start, and that shot of him pulling around the corner of what looks like Gotham's Times Square, but it was just visually just different and beautiful with all the stacked billboards. The way it was like a pyramid of them. It looked really cool. Gorgeous. I could watch that all day. I could analyze it, I could break it down, but then again, it's a long sit through. I mean, and again, I love Lord of the Rings, I love Titanic, and it's not that I can't sit through those films, but it does limit my ability to, like, if I sit down home and I'm like, I want to watch something, I'll watch the Batman, but I'm probably going to get through it. I might get interrupted. I might have to, run some errands or go to do some laundry or, carry out one of my days. So it hurts it a little bit. I'll give rewatchability 8.75.
Here we go.
Yeah,
I echoing everything. Was that the Riddler laugh? I don't know what that was. Echoing everything Amanda said. I'm in the same boat. Like, I did not want this movie to end. Literally, I waited for that terrible post-credit scene. But when we were walking out, it was just, I can't wait to see that again. That was all I thought about for me. And one of my favorite things is world building in films, and this had it 11 out of 10. I just want more. I can't wait for the Penguin series. Hopefully we'll get an Arkham series. There's so much that I just cannot wait for. It's just the cherry on top for me. So 10 out of 10. Yellow.
Real quick, I want to speak to Matt. If you can sit through Endgame, Zack Snyder Justice League. Look, I had fun with Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't know how many times I'm gonna sit through 4 hours and watch it. I don't know.
Not me.
We're not talking about that movie, okay? God.
No. That's when it fell apart. We're talking about the good Zack Snyder. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go into overall grade, Mando.
I'm sitting at like a 7.5/8 out of 10. So I'll do like an 8 out of 10 because I did give it a 4 out of 5 on my letterbox, and it's going to stay there. I don't think I'll drop it on a second viewing, but yeah, I'll do like an 8 out of 10 for the Batman.
8 out of 10. What about you, Lo?
There's so much to talk about with this film. I just want to shout out John Turturro. I loved his performance as Falcone. He's so good when he wants to be menacing and scary, and I just loved him as this badass mob boss. He gave no fucks, even when Batman's standing in front of him. It's just like, hey, fuck you, guy. Like he just has like that don't give a fuck attitude, and I love that. Zoe Kravitz really won me over last night. Yes, I saw it last night again. Sorry, guys. Zoe
Take
Kravitz
a shot every time he says it.
she's a gem. I didn't give her enough credit for her acting before, but she really carries every scene she's in. I didn't get enough of her, in my opinion, but she's really good. And overall, it was such a fun experience seeing it again. It was just so wonderful. How do I do this? So on Letterboxd, it's a 4.5, and I'm rounding up to a 9. But you know what, though? It's nowhere near as lower as I had it on Saturday's review, which was, 3 days ago? I can't count. I'm going to give an overall grade of 9.64.
9.64 for Loretto. For me, it's the best Batman movie I've ever seen. It's better than The Dark Knight. how can it not be a 10? From the Riddler to the score to the casting to the direction to Robert Pattinson's badass Batman. Like, this movie's perfect. It's a perfect movie. It'll be, if we ever do a movie draft and you guys take the Batman from me, I'll be coming for not you, but your entire family. Just put that in there. So I will be devastated. Absolutely devastated. Batman is 10 out of 10. So that means we roll on to the Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's excellent Superman film. We're going to just lead off with Manda. How would you grade the story and plot out of 10?
Oh my goodness. Down here, I have it at an 8.5 for me. Again, like the first half of this film showing how he grew up, the flashbacks to like a young Clark Kent, and having him kind of go through like his own version of puberty, and then flashing forward to how he is now, at present day. I thought it was really, really well done. I love that they focused on Krypton a little bit more so, and then he really focused on Kevin Costner as his dad as well, and obviously Russell Crowe as his dad. So you have like two of like the best dads in the business as his dad. I really do think that watching him grow up really cemented his humanity and that he belongs on Earth as much as he is Kryptonian, and he has to find that blend. And I think that story was really strong for an origin, and I think Zack Snyder really did it beautifully. It's the Superman movie that I always wanted. A lot of people say that's really grim and dark and, he didn't understand him. But Superman's always supposed to be a reflection of the world around him. And maybe at that present time when they wanted to make Superman and they wanted to make Man of Steel, that's the version that we should have gotten because of what was happening in our world in that time. So I think that him being a reflection of that time and having that translate to his humanity in Man of Steel is something really beautiful. So I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5 for Manda for the story of Man of Steel. Matt says he saw it 10 times in the theaters. That is epic, man.
I love it. I love it.
Terrific. 8.5 for Manda. What about you, Lo?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I really respect Zack Snyder for what he was trying to accomplish here. The story on paper is epic in scale and accomplishes a lot of what Richard Donner did 35 years prior. But I mean, again, 35 years after Richard Donner's Superman, it's like our technology and our progression with film and visual effects really gave us an opportunity to really bring Superman to life. And I have to admit, Zack Snyder accomplished just that. David S. Goyer, although again, similarly to the Batman, I felt like this movie was a little bit overlong, but overall, though, I think they nailed it. I think Christopher Nolan helped with the core of the story, but I think David S. Goyer wrote the script, right? And I think between the three of them with Zack Snyder, I think it really works on paper. The introduction of Lois Lane, Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White. Again, I think Man of Steel is one of those cases where all the pieces just fell into place here. Perfect casting, in my opinion. Henry Cavill, I thought he was kind of whatever in 2013. I don't know. Maybe I was jaded and I don't know, being young and stupid. But 10 years later, almost, he is a really good Superman. I don't know if I would call him the best Superman, but he's really good. And it breaks my heart knowing we didn't get a proper Man of Steel 2. And I think we were robbed of that. And I think I would have been over the moon for BVS if we had a Man of Steel 2 proper. Which is why I have issues with BVS. But
totally.
All that being said, I think the story here is just outstanding. Of introducing General Zod to Earth, the World Engine, trying to craft a new Krypton. I think all of that is monumental storytelling. It's very biblical. Superman being like our Messiah of sorts, and Zod just trying to save his race. Like his race his planet is gone, and I think that conflicting interests of killing Earth to save Krypton, or does Kal-El want to save his people? I think those questions are really, really good. I'm gonna give this a 9.
Yeah, I'm also at a 9 for me. I just echo exactly what you just said. I give Zack Snyder so much respect when it's due. I absolutely love this film, and It's easily one of my favorite DC films ever made. And that starts with Zack Snyder and the way he found a way to humanize Superman, a character. That's not easy to do, man. That is definitely a challenge. And while I prefer the Superman that we see in Superman and Lois, and that's just they knocked it out of the ballpark with that show. But this Superman, Henry Cavill, is just terrific. The story here, with him being bullied and him not, just on that journey of self-identity and self-discovery, and then when he like snaps Zod's neck, and then he lets out that cry, that scream that he's kept it inside all movie long, his whole life. That really hit me. Like, it's just amazing to see, what Zack Snyder can do in a condensed story. When it's like he's just about this character, that's everything else. We're not gonna go there. But for this is just terrific. I give this a 9. I think it's terrific. Let's roll on to visuals and sound for Man of Steel. Manda.
Come on, those visuals were ridiculous. Him flying is like burned into my mind. Like, we just spoke about like fan service and how they really put us with Batman, but I personally think they really put us with Superman in this film as well, and just they showed his strength. And like Loretto said, that like we have the technology now to show him at full capacity. And I think they did an excellent job with that. Like I remember, oh my God. Okay, Tyler. But I remember watching it in theaters, and when he does take flight for the first time, I started crying because it was just such a beautiful moment. And like you could feel that he was Superman because of those visuals. It's not as crafty as the Batman with Greg Fraser, but I do think that they nailed Superman in action. I think they really did a great job with that. I love Hans Zimmer's score for this. I still listen to it. Like I said, there's just such a hopefulness throughout the entire score that nails the character and just wraps it in a nice little bow. And even when I listen to it now, like I still remember certain scenes that go with the score. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10 visuals and score because it worked wonders and they did a great job with it.
Yeah, just go with Man. For me, it's a 10 out of 10. And you nailed about Hans Zimmer's score. Like, that is just the most hype, positive, optimistic score. One of Hans Zimmer's best. And I'm of the minority that Hans Zimmer is better than John Williams. That's for another podcast. But this was like peak Hans Zimmer with this and then Interstellar. And this is so good to the point where I still listen to it today. And there's some ambiance scores on YouTube that I will just put on while I'm working at home and just chill. And come on, guys, the visuals of Henry Cavill, like, this is the most beefed up, fit person on camera we have ever seen. The dude, it looks like he could probably bench press 500 pounds. The dude, he had this like vibe on screen that you literally believed that he could be Superman. And that is just an accomplishment for me. I thought the sound, the visuals, Henry Cavill, like how much weight he gained for this movie, just cemented Superman for me. What about you, Lo? 10 out of 10 on my end.
Yeah, no, dude, the
Yes.
dun dun dun, like Hans Zimmer is such a mastermind. That I couldn't get that out of my head for weeks, and I wasn't even like the biggest Man of Steel fan when this came out. Hans Zimmer is just a maestro, and then again today, God, that first flight just gets me. It's so exhilarating, and like hearing his cape flap with the intensity, the velocity of his flight, and like Manda said, we are on his cape, and we see him weaving through the canyons and the valleys that he flies through. And then he like travels to different continents, which I thought was so cool to visualize that. And then he goes up into space. And again, I hate to make that same comparison, but I think what Zack Snyder and Matt Reeves both do really well is creating panels on their films. I could snapshot like one of my favorite panels is Superman floating above the government when he's surrendering. Such a beautiful, subtle shot with the tanks in front of him, and he just floats down like, "Hey guys, I'm a friend. I could totally wreck y'all, but I come in peace." Like,
Yeah.
such a great shot. And then also the intro, the prologue. Krypton is such a masterful, like that first 10-15 minutes just sucked me in, and it was so beautiful to witness their technology and their ships, and freaking Russell Crowe riding a dragon. Come on. I was ready to go to war for Krypton. I was just swept up, and dives, it gave me it reminded me of like Lord of the Rings, like the introduction to Middle Earth. I think Zack Snyder made a very similar thing with Krypton, where I just felt engrossed in this world. I hate to say it, it's a 10 for me.
Nice.
It's like Man of Steel is a lot better than I remember. I'm being honest.
Like, I remember going into this movie like completely in the dark, like I do for a lot of those like big CBM films. I don't want to know anything. And I remember going into this movie, and that first like 10 minutes of Krypton, I had no idea that was gonna happen. Like Zack Snyder just threw it all. He went all in with it, and it was just awesome. Just so much fun. Let's go on to memorable moments for Amanda.
I have two. So the first one is obviously the flight. It's one of the most powerful moments in any comic book movie ever. And you just see him realize how powerful he is and how to hone in on that power because of his father, because of Kevin Costner. And I thought that was just such a beautiful moment. And like, just seeing like his fist ball up and then placing it on the ground, and then just the visuals of like that, and like the snow lifting when he like flies up, like it's just such a beautiful moment. And it's definitely like top 10 moments for me. It's just so well done. So that's the first one. The second one is when the tornado hits and Kevin Costner went back to the car, and oh my god, and Clark went to go save everyone and get them to safety, and then he couldn't go save his dad in time, and he wanted to go, but then you just see Kevin Costner's hand just like shoot up. It's like you have to understand that you're not going to come and save me, because this was meant to happen, and if he wasn't here, if Superman didn't exist, then this would have happened regularly. So again, it plays off of the humanity, but that scene makes me bawl every time I watch it, just because of the connection that he had with his father. And I don't think he realized that at the time. So I think it just makes him such a well-rounded character. Both of those scenes connected, and they're my favorite. So it's like 10 out of 10 for me, because there's so many emotional moments throughout that you don't think they're going to hit, but it hits.
And just to piggyback off of Amanda here, I'm a 10 out of 10 as well. And I also love the moment with him and his father, a young Clark Kent, like finding out that he's an alien. He's an alien who has no idea like where he's come from, who he is. And like Clark goes like, can I just keep pretending to be your son? And it's just that you get the response like, you are my son. I don't know why, but that part just resonates so well for me. Like emotionally, it hits so hard. And it's one of those like weird moments that it still hits. I don't know why, but it definitely tugs my heartstrings 100%. It's just a beautiful moment, and kind of just that's like the starting point of Superman trying to find out who he is and where he belongs. So I love that scene. What about you, Lo?
I actually love that you brought that up. As you know, Dives, both of us being relatively new fathers, father and son, father and child stuff just wrecks me. It doesn't matter what movie it is. But I'm really glad you brought that up, because Kevin Costner's so good in that scene. Like you said, just that reassurance. Like, no, like I raised you, Clark. Like, come on now. Like, it was such a sweet scene. And then to play it back later, when he says goodbye, like Amanda said, like, yeah, you guys actually took a couple moments. Those were really near and dear to me as well. But I think the one I'll go with is lost my train of thought.
I have one to throw in. Is Superman versus, is it Fiora or for?
Yes.
Fiora?
Yeah.
What a badass character, man. Her moment there of a fight scene in Smallville between her and Clark, and then her taking down like pretty much everyone was so good. I was so excited when that was happening. It was just hilarious, but jaw-dropping at the same time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a brain fart for like 5 seconds. You know what I really liked? I really liked the way they presented him meeting Jor-El.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I when I was a kid, like I had Marlon Brando ingrained in my head, but just the fact that Russell Crowe can even like almost surpass that performance, you know, with Marlon Brando kind of like, I mean, I heard he kind of slept through it, but he's still good even if he's like kind of just walking through going through the motions. But I love being on the ship and like him telling the story of Krypton through the 3D imagery, and then that moment when he's like Cal, like you will be a symbol for humanity, you'll be their hope and their guiding light, and then the suit turns around and in slow motion and with the cape. And I love that scene gave me chills. But also I remembered my other one, the ending. It very much, I know Nolan had a hand in this, and I know that Zack Snyder was inspired by The Dark Knight. I love the last like 30 seconds where, you know, Clark shows up at the Daily Planet, and then she's like, "Hey, hi, I'm Lois Lane. Welcome to the planet," like pun intended. And then he smiles, that charming, handsome smile, and then we get the Man of Steel title card. Like it reminded me so much of like Batman Begins and Dark Knight, and it was such a good ending. You know, Zack Snyder starts and ends this film very beautifully. So
it's just
true.
I just sticking the knife in the heart, man. Just like, because I remember leaving the theater just so hyped. And just, why didn't we get Man of Steel 2? Why?
Because
Brainiac, like something.
They're a mess. They're a mess. That's all I can say. They're a mess, and they didn't trust what they had, and that's besides the point. So that's
Look at us getting so upset with WB right now.
It's because Henry Cavill, honestly, out of everyone,
he deserves it.
He deserves it. He started the DCEU and he still gets shafted. And that's what breaks my heart, because there was supposed to be a Man of Steel 2 after Zack Snyder's Justice League. And it's just like, we're not getting it. And the poor guy, he's like, what bothers me the most is that he's like, I'm ready, waiting by the phone whenever you guys need me. And then we get that like Peacemaker situation. And like, you could have literally said, bro, come on by. We need you. And they didn't use him. So it just breaks my heart at this point. Sorry.
And then we get his body double in Shazam. It's like,
it didn't even look like him. I'm like, my Superman's more buff. What's wrong with you? Like, why would you use that body? Like, that's such fake news. Like, don't do that.
Tease. I was like, come on.
Oh, so annoying.
Wait, Loretta, what was your grade, real quick?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Memorable moments, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna give it a 10.
The
first flight, all the scenes that I mentioned, love it.
I love it.
We have back-to-back 10s across the board for the Batman and Man of Steel in visuals, memorable moments, and just visuals. So just back to back. My bad. Tyler says next time you see him, he has a goofy CGI face in Justice League so bad.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about
that kills me. No, you guys are right. That's the next time we see him, right? No,
we don't talk about Justice League.
BBS.
We don't talk about Justice League, okay?
That's so funny.
Hey, I'm glad Matt brought this up though, especially when his hearing and his X-ray vision's going crazy, and he sees the kids as skeletons, and he sees his teacher's heartbeat. Like that was a cool scene. Like I forgot about that.
Also, when he's in handcuffs too is hilarious to me. I think that's the funniest scene. It was so subtle.
the beginning, like it just gets me. Like in the beginning where he's like in the closet, like the world's too big. Like yeah, it's cheesy, but it's my cheesy. It's my kind of cheesy.
Diane Lane is so good.
Oh, she's so good.
She's one of the best moms ever.
Yeah, it gets me.
I love Martha.
Yeah, there it is. The theme where Clark struggles in school, discovering he's an alien. It's so emotional, and then he can't fight back to the bullies, and then he saves the bullies in the bus. Like
such a beautiful.
Everything is just so good, and then he gets bullied. Like that's why it just hits me so good. It just hits me so good.
I cry all the time.
Tyler's killing it today.
I don't want to talk about BBS.
Can we block him from the chat? No joking, Tyler. Love you.
I don't want to get angry. I don't want to get angry.
BBS is Bruno for dives as far as
we don't talk about BBS.
Oh wait,
All right.
now I get why you're laughing.
Yeah, so we don't talk about Bruno, but instead it's Justice League and BBS.
Oh, okay. We need a remix.
I have a 2-year-old girl, and that's all we listen to is Encanto. The soundtrack is so good. It's one of my favorites of all time. All right, let's roll on to rewatchability for Man of Steel. Amanda, you're up.
It's a 10/10 for me. Like, I'm just gonna say that straight out. It makes me cry. So when I'm in the mood to cry, like, I'll literally put that on. It's just something so beautiful. I've rewatched it probably as much as I've rewatched the movie that shall not be named. So I so many of them, according to me not being able to talk about it. I'm joking. But yeah. But like, yeah, it's 10 out of 10. Like I said, it hits emotionally, and Henry Cavill will always be my Superman. So
love it. What about
you?
Yeah, love him.
All right, 10 out of 10 for Amanda. Low, where you at?
So this is gonna be fun. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but look, the main thing is it starts out beautifully. The first hour is wonderful. It's an amazing cast, like I've already said. The ending is incredible. Him screaming in the is that a train station? It's like a grand train station or whatever, and he snaps Zod's neck, and then the Daily Planet scene, and it's like it starts and ends so well, but it just kind of loses me a little bit with the WWE style mega fist punch fights. Like, look, I get it. Some of it is kind of cool, like, but in my opinion, it's like, how many times are we going to see their bodies smash through trucks and buildings, and like that Smallville town got wrecked, and then when the Superman and Zod punch each other for like what seems like 20 minutes.
Okay, wait. The context is important, because up until then, everyone was like, we want Superman to punch someone. That was like literally like the major complaint from Superman Returns, and then Zack Snyder's like, okay, and just like pumps it up with like steroids.
Counterpoint, right? Like we were thirsty for some Superman punches, and then Zack Snyder literally pours it down our throats. Like, ha! There's many punches. Yeah. I just feel like.
Do you remember? Hold on. Do you remember that?
I think the final conflict with Zod, the first like punch on each other is 2 hours into the film. It felt like. We already saw the world engine get destroyed. Like, we were already on the downslope of the picture. It's like, and they fight for another 10-15 minutes. It's a little bit excessive, and I felt like some of the shots were cool. We get the LexCorp truck, we get the Wayne satellite, like that's cool, but it just took forever to get there, and it was just kind of repetitive in my opinion. It beats me over the head. But with all that being said, with the beautiful beginning, the beautiful ending, Hans Zimmer's score, Henry Cavill, an awesome, amazing performance. I'll give it a 9.35.
9.35 for Loretto. Do you guys remember the teaser, or it was a trailer? I'm not sure. But at the very end of the teaser trailer it's Superman punching Zod while flying in the sky.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember? Like, that was like it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Is like people were wanting Superman to like actually fight someone, and we finally got it. I remember watching the teaser before the movie dropped. And it's just funny.
Can I say one more thing, Devs? One more thing, real quick. Matrix Revolutions, a movie that was immensely disappointing for me. It reminded me of the Neo Agent Smith fight, where you get two like almost perfectly powerful beings just revolve around each other in the sky, and the glass is shattering, and it just felt like not only have I felt like I saw that before, but I just felt like I didn't need to see that for that long. Like, if we saw it for like quick cuts, and then we get to the point where he's holding his neck and he snaps the neck, I just felt like we could have got there faster. That's all. That's it. It just was too much for me. It was excessive. Like,
I hated this discussion when the movie came out. When people were like, "Oh my gosh, like Metropolis is completely destroyed." Like, people took such offense to this and how much destruction was in this film. As someone who like absolutely loves Roland Emmerich films, like, inject all of that into my veins. Like, I want all of it. Like, I want all of it. I want to see Zod and Superman battle to the death. I want to see, unfortunately we didn't, but Superman versus Doomsday. One of my favorite like Superman moments is, I don't know if it's Death of Superman. I could be wrong. But the moment where he's going against Doomsday and Superman's like, I've held back my entire life. I never had anyone to test my superpowers ever. Now I'm going to show you everything I have, and then he like completely destroys Doomsday. I want all of that. Like that would be. Imagine having that in a Man of Steel 2 versus like.
But
Batman.
look, in contrast, Dives, like the beginning is so emotional and heartfelt. It just felt like this slugfest that came out of nowhere, in my opinion. Like I could have gone with that with less of it for me.
Sure. All right. Yeah, I gave it for me rewatchability is a 9. I gave it a 9. And I'll argue this is like probably not elite MCU tier, but it's probably like a tier right below that for me. I think this is a terrific movie. I've seen this movie way more times than a lot of some of the better, more well-known MCU films. 9 out of 10 for me. Absolutely love it. Let's roll on to final or overall grade for Man of Steel. Amanda.
It's a perfect Superman movie in my eyes. I love Henry. I love what Zack did with it. And I give it a 10 out of 10 for me. It's absolute perfection in my eyes. So, yeah.
Oh, man, this might be closer than we thought here. It's going to be interesting. What about you, Lo?
Yeah.
So for 2 things, I'm so sorry, Amanda. I feel like everything I said was like, you're like, oh, it was like
it's okay. No, I'm good. I'm used to it. It's fine.
we definitely have a difference of opinion here and there. But also, I totally messed up. I thought overall grade was the last conversation we had. But anyways, it's okay. That kind of played into rewatchability now that I think about it. But whatever. Similarly, it doesn't drop my score down that much. Everything that it does good, it does really, really well. It overshadows some of my gripes. And that's the same thing that happened with the Batman, which is why I thought this matchup was so interesting. Like, I thought both films were a little bit too long for my tastes and a little bit excessive in parts, but what they do well is so good in both films. And overall, I think I'll go with a 9.23.
Why?
Poor Dives.
9.23. Which means I need to do fucking Loretto's math here. Whole numbers are your friend, Loretto. Come on, man. All right. I'm gonna throw it to either Amanda or Loretto while I need a minute to calculate Loretto's score, and then we'll see who is the winner here. Floor's yours.
Your face, Lo. No, I love that we put Man of Steel against the Batman. I think that the Batman does a different origin story than we're not used to. And I also think that Man of Steel did something different with his origin story. It wasn't like by the book. And I think that putting them head to head, we could really see that what's important in the comic book movie world is that you have to do something different or else it gets really repetitive and formulaic. And that's why we hold these 2 films in such high regard, because they did something different in their respective genre. So yeah, I'm happy that we kind of put them head to head. What about you, Lo? What do you think?
You know, reflecting on how high we were on the visuals and the moments, I think these 2 films, they're like the best of what comic book movies can be. Like I said, visually, they're just so impressive. Both Snyder and Matt Reeves just really nailed the imagery. Like, I feel like someone could or have done this before, but I would love to see like comic book style stills of like the frames from the movie from both films. I think it could be done, and that'd be so cool to like sort of flip through. So I don't know
for sure
if anyone has that, but
they do. Right. I think they have it. They should have
Do they?
It. Yeah, because I have one for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So
Ooh.
Yeah, panels and all. It was a good time.
Man of Steel was so good. Got chills when the Kryptonians hacked the news and demanded Kal. That was such an amazing moment, man. That was a horror film. Yeah, that was
scary as hell. Yeah,
the sound in that was just so cool.
Yeah.
And like the whole world stood still. Everyone's just like.
Tyler says news category of which movie has the hotter cast.
It's obviously the Batman, Tyler. Like, let's be
it would be, but
yeah. I mean,
I gotta say, I love the way that Robert Pattinson looks at Zoe Kravitz. Like, find you someone that looks at you the way he looks at her. Like the yearning. Like,
I cannot with them. I hate them so much. When he has her like with his hand covering her mouth and like they're both breathing together, I'm just like, okay. Like,
it's very sensual.
Like, their
it's very sensual. I felt like that was very very purposeful.
I was like, okay.
No, and then when she saves him and she rolls on top of him, and they're breathing. I'm just like, yo, like,
Yeah.
they are practically fucking right now.
It's the
Got her
same
legs
level.
around him. I was just
Yeah,
like,
like it's the same level. It's fine. It's good.
All right, guys. Who is the winner? Man vs. Steel versus the Batman, and the winner is Man vs. Steel gets the W here.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh my God,
How did
Zack
that
Snyder
happen?
forever.
Total score for the Batman is 92.3%, 138.89 out of 150. I gave it a 98%. Manda gave it an 88%, and Loretto gave it a 92%. Wow. And then we were pretty much consistent across the board on Man of Steel, 95, 95, 97 for 95% overall. Wow. I am shocked. I am shocked, man.
Thanks for joining us, Jalen. He's loving it.
I mean, these are definitely this is a good versus. This is a very good versus.
Yeah.
Where it's fun to revisit Man of Steel, which is such a good film in its own right. I disagree with this, obviously. I think the Batman is just a better overall film. It's just a much better film. But I'm not upset at all. I think Man of Steel is right there. We'll throw it to you, Amanda. What's your reaction?
I'm honestly shook right now. That's crazy. Recount, Tyler. At least it's like they're close. Like it's not like far apart. Like I just think that where the Batman falters is the structure and the script, as we've been talking about it. And I'm not saying that Man of Steel is like perfect structurally either because of the third act, but like it's so close. But I'm happy the Man of Steel won. Zack Snyder forever. It's his most perfect. So that's where I'm at. I'm happy with this.
What about you, Lo?
I think I made a mistake.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
I like Man of Steel way more than I did in 2013, but
yeah.
I honestly, going into this, I thought my mindset was like, oh, I think I prefer the Batman. Like, so I think I don't know. Maybe I was too high on the rewatchability factor because that's where Batman dropped for me, and I'm shocked. I don't even know how to put this into words. Like, I can't believe this happened.
Good night. Such a good night.
DC has still yet the top Man of Steel, to be honest. That was Wonder Woman says what's up. Wonder Woman says I really like Wonder Woman. All right, but anyway, I can't believe it. I'm like speechless.
Wow.
But here we are. It's all good. All right.
I don't even know how to. I'm like, wow.
I'm so happy. Oh my God. A Zack Snyder movie doing well. This is great.
That's where it all went downhill.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, Christ.
Dylan says Wonder Woman, no, sir.
Hey,
I love Wonder Woman's amazing.
I love it.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I've seen that more times than I've seen Man of Steel. No question about it. What are we doing here? Gal Gadot is the worst actress. No.
In 1984, 150%. You're correct, sir. But Wonder Woman was good.
I don't even think that was her fault. But
yeah,
well, 84 has such a bad taste in my mouth. I think that's my problem with Wonder Woman. So
it's so bad.
It's so bad.
All right, Lo, let's wrap it up. What do you got going on? Where can the people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Marcellus Durden and on Letterboxd at Marcellus Durden. I do a bunch of cool reviews there. I just reviewed Studio 666. Not worth a watch. I feel like I wasted my time. It's the infamous Foo Fighters horror comedy, but it's not that funny and it's not that scary. It's just there. I saw it kind of drunk and I was just like, shit, I wish I was more drunk.
Yeah,
but it's okay. You know, I made up for it by watching Man of Steel today. So this is always a great time. Please follow us on Twitter as well at the Suit Up Geeks, and shouts out Music City Drive-In. We are now part of their network. So
yes, Music City Drive-In. Thank you. That is our network. Amanda, where can we find you?
Yeah. You guys can always follow me over at AMX ND Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And here, you guys can follow the Suit Up Geeks on Instagram as well. We post all our reels and reactions there, so come check us out. I have my review for The Adam Project, which is dropping on Netflix this weekend, coming out tomorrow, and it made me cry, guys. almost as much as Man of Steel made me cry. So I hope you guys enjoy that this weekend.
I think we're all just preparing for Oscar. Am I saying it right?
Oscar Isaac. It's his birthday today, too.
God damn it. I'm just.
Hey, your names today are off the hook.
I know.
I'm so proud.
Moon Knight. We're all getting ready for Moon Knight in just a few weeks. Are we doing a Turning Red review? Because I really, really want to. Like,
Yeah.
I'm dying to see.
That's on our schedule, and I am so down. I think I'm gonna watch it the first night.
Yeah. That's all I'm doing Friday.
Yeah, I think that's this Friday.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds good.
Guys, please check us out on Twitter at the Suit Up Geeks. If you love Batman, if you love Superman, I think this is wrapping a bow on Batman for a little bit because we've done trivia shows, preview shows, review shows, spoiler shows, you name it. And it's been a wild ride, but I think it's time to deep dive into some Pixar and Marvel, pretty much, and Star Wars coming up soon in May, because that Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer was off the hook. So guys, thank you everyone for watching. Like this video, please help us out, get our name out there a little bit, and check us out on Twitter at the Suit Up Geeks and Instagram. Follow Amanda at MXNDA Reviews. Check out Candid Cinema on YouTube and Loretto at Marcellus Durden. He's a douchebag. Don't follow him because he's seen the Batman every single day and rubs it in my face every single day, and it just kills me.
I support this.
On the inside.
You know, I want to watch it again just to spite you. Just to spite you. I'm going to watch it again, guys.
Damn.
I love it. All right. For me, for Loretto, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.